luckily that worked out for me. I had about four different interviews with four different companies in about a week,
Okay.
a span of a week. So I was feeling very good about myself. It was so quiet for so long, and then it's like, damn,
Yeah.
everyone wants to talk to you and chat with you. So that was very exciting for me, at least. And then, out of those four companies, I managed to get 2 offer letters.
Guys, welcome back to the Product Manager channel, where we talk about product, tech, and how to build awesome software. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you the part 2 of Oleg R interview, which we had a few weeks ago. In this episode, he's sharing his journey to become a software engineer, and in particular, a lot of tips that he used to study and build his skill set, prepare for interviews, and finally get not only 1 offer but 2 offers at the same time, and how he was able to leverage those offers to negotiate a better deal for himself. So if you trying to get your first job as a software engineer, take a listen. You'll find a lot of great tips and advice that will help you be successful in your journey. So if that sounds good to you, hit the like and take a listen.
And
But you were working full time on that internship, right?
I wasn't even full time. It was part time. It was only 29 hours a week.
Okay.
Yeah. So of course, everyone has bills to pay, and I needed something that paid more. So that's why I started looking outside. And I applied the same strategy that worked for me initially with my first job. I applied in the area for about a month or 2. Nothing was sticking. And then afterwards, I just applied all over the country and hoping that, hey, maybe this will work again. Because maybe I might not look as attractive to some companies here, but maybe other companies need my skill set in other states. So luckily that worked out for me. I had about 4 different interviews with 4 different companies in about a week, a span of a week. So I was feeling very good about myself. It was so quiet for so long, and then it's like, damn, everyone wants to talk to you and chat with you. So that was very exciting for me, at least. And then, out of those 4 companies, I managed to get 2 offer letters. So I know that's very rare when you do land 2 offer letters in a short time span, because it's very hard to time it.
So let's go through that process. Like, how many were those 4 like on-site interview, or did you just kind of walk us through the process and how you manage different company interview at the same time? How did you prepare for those? Did you do anything different from one company to another, or you were just kind of reusing the same strategy across all 4 potential job? How did you go about it?
Yeah, well, it's very tricky preparing for an interview. The initial phone screening, that's the initial interview, is when they call you and they ask you what your goals are, what your technical background is. That's the easy part. You should have your background story. It's pretty concise. And once you work out a good background story that people actually listen to and they could follow, you could just reuse that for your initial phone call. Such as, hey, like, I went to college, I went to boot camp, I worked on these projects, I'm excited about working with this company. Of course, do research about the company that's interviewing you, do research about the role that you're applying to, because each role is a little different. I'll figure out what tech that they're using and if you've used that technology before. So that was the initial interview. If they like you, they'll call you again, maybe speak with another individual, or they might invite you to an on-site interview.
Right.
Now, that's a little bit different. For the on-site interviews, usually they'll ask you some technical questions. They might ask you to do a challenge problem, or they might just ask you questions about JavaScript or any questions they might have, or any CSS questions. With that being said, there's a lot of things you have to be prepared for. There's a lot. You have to practice challenge problems almost on a daily basis to make sure that your skill set is sharpened, you also have to do these specific research on different specific questions that they might ask you about CSS or HTML or maybe some framework. And there's a lot to prepare for. You also have to prepare for behavioral questions. They want to see how you would fit in with the company. If you're a good culture fit, they want to know what your goals are, where you're going to be in 5 years. There's a lot to prepare for. And honestly, you're never ready because there's just so much to study for. You just keep studying and you hope that you're ready, you know? And if you don't know the answer to a question, that's fine. You just tell them you don't know the question to this answer. I mean, I think I said that wrong. The answer to the question, but you tell them how you would figure it out, you know, how you would do your research to find the answer.
So try to, even if you don't have the answer, try to walk through it and just kind of break it down step by step and explain how you would approach this problem, even if you don't have the answer, right?
They just want to see your thought process as well, how you think. They want to see if you give up right away or if you actually give it a shot. Because even if you get one question wrong, two questions wrong, that doesn't mean that they're not going to hire you. You know, no one's perfect. No one knows everything. It's all right to make mistakes.
For sure. Yeah. No, this is really, really good. Do you, so how many on-site interviews did you have during that week or during that period of time?
Well, I had 2 on-site interviews. One of them was it wasn't in Salt Lake City, but it was in Utah. So it wasn't too far from where I live, which is very convenient for me at least. They invited me for an on-site interview. It was 2 engineers.
Okay.
So they just wanted to hear my background story. They wanted to chit-chat with me, tell me more about the company, more about the role. And then they gave me 2 challenge problems, which I've been studying a lot, so I did pretty good on it.
Okay. Did you already know those challenge, this particular one?
I mean, I didn't know them, but once I read the problem, I figured it out. Basically, like right on the spot, I already came up with the solution really quickly. Again, that just comes with practice.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But after the on-site interview, they liked how I did, so they gave me a little take-home assignment.
Okay.
And they gave me a PDF. No, not a PDF. They gave me an image.
Okay.
Like a JPEG image, and they told me to create a web page based off of that image. So they just wanted me to recreate it, but as a web page, which I did. I did it in about a day, give or take, and I sent it back to them.
Yeah.
Again, they liked my work, and then they invited me for a final on-site interview with the president of the company. Now, that was more of a behavioral interview because the president wasn't really technical. He just wanted to see what kind of person I was, what kind of value I would bring to the company, if I'd be a good fit. And I did pretty well on that, and they offered me, they gave me an offer the next week.
Okay.
And I told them that, hey, I am very excited about this opportunity, but I am currently being interviewed by other companies. I was wondering if I could get back to you maybe a week from now. And they said, yeah, you have until this date, a week from now, get back to us and let us know.
Got it.
Yeah. So you have to be transparent with your employer. If you're being interviewed by other people, you should let them know that, hey, I just want to see what the best career opportunity is for me, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So what happened with the other interview? So that was the first offer that you got, right?
Yep.
So how did you?
That was the first offer.
How did you manage the other interview that you were having? Like at that time, were you still in the running for like other 3 job, or just how many did you have?
Well, one of them didn't get back to me. It happens. Some people ghost you. It's okay. The other 2 companies, I was in the interview process with them. For one of the companies, I got to the final stage, but they told me that they decided to go with someone else. Because for that particular job, they needed someone to create a full application for them. And to be honest, I wouldn't have picked me as the candidate also, because again, I only had about less than a year of experience.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure if you want a junior person creating a full application for you. I could do it, but I don't know. I'm sure they had more senior people that they were interviewing, so I understand that. And then for the last company that I was interviewing with, it wasn't for a front-end developer role. It was for a support engineer role. This is a good mix of communicating with the customer as well as coding and debugging the issues that the customer may have had. And honestly, I find that job very appealing. I understand that it's a little bit different from just coding 24/7. I might be coding 40% of the time, but I'm all right with that. I feel as though this company is offering me a lot of great opportunities. And it's a startup company as well, so there's a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
And they're hiring very quickly, so it's going to be a very fast-paced environment, which I find very attractive.
Okay, awesome.
But the interview process for them was one of the most difficult interview process, in my opinion, because I interviewed with about 3 to 4 different people, and then they made me work on 3 different assignments.
Okay.
And then after all that happened, they invited me on an on-site interview, where I was interviewed by 8 different people. And I was given a coding challenge. So it was very, very fast paced, very quick.
Yeah.
I've never had anything like that interview wise, but I did a good job, and they also offered me a letter.
Okay.
But to step back a little bit, when I received my first offer letter, I let every company that I was interviewing with, I let them know that, hey, I was given an offer letter and I would like to speed up the interview process because I have a deadline for when I have to respond to this company, whether I'm accepting their offer letter or not. And again, you just have to be transparent with the recruiters and HR, and they'll understand that everyone has their own life and everyone's interviewing. And
got it.
Whatever the case may be.
Do you think that helped you to, once you got your first offer, did it help you to, either accelerate the process with the other company, or maybe get even an offer, and maybe a higher offer potentially? Like, were you able to use that as a potential leverage?
Yeah, well, it definitely sped up the interview process 1,000%, because they understand that you have a deadline and they want to push you through the interview process as quickly as possible.
Right.
And they understand that, well, you're wanted. You have an offer letter. People actually want you, which is good. And they're going to want to give you an offer that is more appealing than what the first company gave you.
Right.
And at the end, if you do get more than one offer letter, you can always negotiate for a higher price if you'd like. I recommend it. You should always see how much you're worth, and you should go for it. You should go get it.
Yeah. That's really cool. So how would you recommend, should you wait for have the 2 offer on hand before you negotiate? Like, how do you do that? Do you talk to the recruiter? Do you talk to the 2 company at the same time? Like, what was the strategy?
Well, let's start off by saying that you have one offer on the table, and that's the only offer you have. I believe you should still negotiate. You should always negotiate, even if you have 1 offer or 2 offers, 3 offers. It doesn't matter, because even if you ask for $2,000 more, $5,000 more, whatever the case is, at least you asked for it, and most likely they will give you some more money. They might not give you $5,000. They might give you, hey, we can't offer you $5,000 more, but we can offer you $2,000 or $3,000 more. But hey, you're getting $3,000 more added to your salary, so that's awesome. But when you have 2 or more offer letters on the table, what I did was I waited until I got that second offer letter, because that just gives you more leverage. You can come to the company and tell them, hey, this is how much I'm being offered at another company. Is there any way that you can pay me more, or can you match it, or what's the best that you can do for me?
Right.
Yeah, because sometimes HR or the recruiter might ask you how much you want to make. You might give them a number, for example, $50,000. But in reality, you might be underselling yourself, when in reality you might be worth $80,000 or $70,000. Yeah. So you should always, when you're talking about price, shoot a little higher than what you're expecting, because most likely they're not going to give it to you. They're going to give you a lower number. But if they do give it to you, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, for sure. Especially as a
Yeah.
kind of like a junior developer where you
Hmm.
maybe you don't have too much confidence. You know, you're just trying to get your first job. You're not sure how
Yeah.
much you're worth. You know, what's the price for in the market. So those are good feedback. Uh,
Yeah.
really cool.
Just
So then,
believe in yourself.
yeah, you got to believe in yourself and be confident. Yeah, so how did you how did you make up your decision? Like, were you able to get any company to raise their original offer in the process?
Yeah. Well, the way I made my decision was, first, one of them was as a software engineering job. The other one was as a support engineer job. They're different roles, but they're both involved in tech. That was the first option I had to, or the first decision I had to make. The
Mm-hmm.
second one was I had to look at both companies. I had to see if there was an opportunity for growth. The one here in Utah, there wasn't much opportunity for growth. It was just that I was going to be a software engineer, and that's it. Which is okay, of course, but I like to look a couple steps ahead in the future
Right.
and see what's the next step. What can I work on to be a better person, to like improve my career? So that was kind of not as attractive
Okay.
for me. But the second company, it's a startup company. They're rapidly growing, and I asked them, "Hey, will there be an opportunity for me to grow, maybe in a management position, maybe in a couple of years, whatever the case is?" And they told me, "Yes, of course. If you have the skill set for it and
Mm-hmm.
you're willing to work for it, then yeah, there's opportunity to grow for you here." And then you also have to look at the benefits that the company is offering you and the compensation.
Mm.
The second company was just offering me a much better compensation. And of course, you're like, okay, well, that's awesome. But you also have to see if you're going to enjoy this job,
Mm.
because the money, it doesn't matter about the money as long as you're doing what you love, because the money will come to you eventually, especially if you're starting off as a junior developer. In a couple of years, you'll be making close to six figures, if not more.
For you after all this time applying and then trying to, do like short time jobs here and here, like getting two offer in 1 week, that must feel really, really awesome, right?
Yeah, it's just a blast of dopamine. It's just like, oh, this is
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. And that's so funny because after I received those two offer letters, another company contacted me and they were trying to interview me as well. But unfortunately, I had a deadline to make a decision by, so
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for an extension. I had a hard deadline that I had to make a choice by. But
Okay.
yeah, you're still going to be interviewed even after you get offer letters.
About that, like, do you feel like did you try to ask the company to extend the deadline? Did you have that conversation with them, or did you just, just ready to go and make a decision?
Yeah, well, honestly, I was just ready to go. I was
Yeah.
ready. I already made up my mind more or less, but it was nice to see that if anything, again, I would just keep interviewing and I would keep trying to get an offer letter. Again, it's just a numbers game.
Wish you all the best on your new job. So when are you starting
Thanks,
the new
Tom.
job again?
Very soon. I'm very excited. It's going to be a great experience. And hopefully, whoever's watching, they learn a thing or two and they could take some advice. Of course, it's just advice. It's just my opinions.
Yeah,
Take it with a grain of salt. Everyone has different views on this. So
for sure. How can people connect with you if they have any questions or want to follow up with you? Is there any social media or that you
yeah.
hang out on? Like, how can people reach out to you?
um, well, LinkedIn would be the best way to connect with me, I'd
Okay.
say. Yeah. I don't even know what my LinkedIn username is, but I'll send it to you. Maybe you
Okay.
could post it up somewhere.
We'll put it on the video. We'll do some magic
Yeah,
editing. Yeah, for sure.
exactly. Music editing.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, thank you so much,
yeah,
Oleg.
yeah. My
Yeah,
pleasure. Always.
it was really fun learning all of your experience. So all the best and good luck, man.
Awesome. Thanks. You too.
All right. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this interview and all the great feedback that Oleg shared with us. If you did, please press the like and tell Oleg which advice resonated the most with you down in a comment. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for, guys? make sure you subscribe so you can be notified for our next awesome interview. Alright, this is it for today. Again, thank you so much, and I see you in the next video.